Good morning and welcome to 1 Million Cups Columbus. We appreciate you joining us and tuning in for this week's episode and weekly dose of entrepreneurship. This week we are joined virtually from someone out of state, but that has been going across the country, chatting with the different 1 Million Cups chapters all over the U.S. So before we get to her, we want to welcome everybody. You can watch us live via Facebook, where we're streaming there. Or if you wish, you can join us on our Zoom simply by going to Columbus, the number 1, mc.com. That'll give you the live Zoom link so that you can join us here, engage with our presenters. We encourage that, have a Q&A chat, and be able to connect with everybody else on the Zoom audience. So before we get started and introduce Danica, we will be going around the room, and if you just tell us who you are, where you're tuning in from, and just a brief little bit about what you do.
All right, I'll go ahead and use my my screen as the popcorn to select people. So Andrew, you are the immediate to the right. We're like, wait, high-fiving over here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Andrew.
Hello, I'm Andrew Cohen. I'm a retired lawyer. I live in Cleveland, have been active in 1 Million Cups for about 5 years, and I am on various nonprofit boards and spend my time doing that. So this topic is very relevant and looking forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. And next we have Brian Gintz.
Hey, Brian Gintz, software developer, have a small company doing mobile MVP prototype small apps for folks here in Columbus, Ohio, and been going to 1 Million Cups for a couple of years. So really enjoying this, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Good to see you again, Brian. Thank you for coming through. And Mark.
Hi, Mark Wiseman, in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm the managing director of Navidar, running our Ohio office out of Cleveland. And we are a technology-focused investment bank working with middle market technology companies in what we call the middle quarter of the country, primarily doing sell-side M&A advisory work, but every once in a while we'll do a later stage capital raise or a buy-side advisory engagement.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. I love your background. It makes me feel like it's morning time, sun's out. It's like,
it's a hell of a lot better than my office or the great skies out the window.
For sure, for sure. All right, Gary, you're next.
Hi, Gary Bauer. I'm in the Cleveland area. I'm somewhat retired from the corporate world and started my own consulting practice as a business coach, Hat Trick Coaching.
Awesome. Oh.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Gary. And last but definitely not least, Mary Marshall, glad to have you back.
Yeah, hi everybody. So now I've missed you all, so happy to be here with you again. I'm in New Philadelphia, Ohio, so kind of between south of Cleveland and east of Columbus by about 2 hours each. So I'm a nurse concierge, so I have my own practice helping those with diabetes and heart disease and autoimmune disease get out of the pain of those chronic illnesses and enjoy their health and their life and take control of their own health using diet, lifestyle, and informed healthcare decision making. Also do speaking and health teaching.
Awesome, great. It's good to see everyone again. This is our second 1MC of the year. We started off with a bang last week, and I hope that momentum will continue throughout the year. We're trying to get some new, fresh energy to get ourselves out of the 2020 mindset. So I'll start off by telling you that 1 Million Cups is a volunteer-led organization. Steve's going to talk a little bit more about the history here in a few moments, but I just want to introduce myself and one of our other organizers, the third organizer who can't be here today. That's my dog in the background. If you hear it, don't mind. He's part of an organization called Honest Jobs, and right now they're part of the TechStars program, so he can't be with us right now, but he's here in spirit. He and I both have a similar story, so I'll give you a quick background about us. We both came to Columbus, Ohio in July of 2018. It so happened to be the same time that Steve Flaherty had started this chapter. So being past presenters ourselves, Mark and I, we knew that if we wanted to get engaged with the entrepreneur ecosystem, get engaged with the startup community, that was the place we needed to go. So we started going as attendees for a few months. And by December, Steve said, I'm tired of seeing you guys sit here every single week. You're not really doing much more than giving good questions to the presenters. So how about becoming an organizer? And we both said yes, big resounding yes. So I came from Alaska, actually. I'm from Chicago originally, was in the Air Force, traveled a bit, had a tech startup that had an exit in 18 as well. And Mark came out of Texas to Columbus. So we both came from the #1 and #2 largest state in the United States to Columbus, Ohio. And man, it did not disappress. This is an amazing place, an amazing ecosystem for entrepreneurs and startups. And again, we're so happy to have you guys here. So I will pass it over to Steve now, who's going to give us a little bit more about the history, and then we'll get right into our presentation.
Perfect. Yeah, no, thank you, George, for queuing it up there. And just going off that note, so we are organizer-led, volunteer organizer-led. So if there's anybody out there that wishes to join the team, we are always open. So we've got, stuff that we do throughout the week, but the more the merrier. So we're happy to add some team members to the 1MC organization here in Columbus. So reach out to either us directly, message us through Facebook. We're on a lot of different social things. So however you can get a hold of us, feel free to. We'd be happy to chat about what it takes to help behind the scenes, do everything with 1 Million Cups, and be one of the contributors to the greater ecosystem here, not only at 1MC Columbus, but the Columbus at large. So as George mentioned, so 1 Million Cups is a national organization. So we're in over 160 cities across the country. Premise is that it's a grassroots-led effort, that we have entrepreneurs come together and chat and share what they're doing, what they're building, and it's both presentation and exposure for the person that has the business, but it's also education. So we can learn from each other, where we might be in different industries, different products and everything, but the entrepreneurial journey is it can be very lonely. And so that's where sharing and chatting with others and learning what others do may help you in your own business or your own life. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to attend. There's some great advice given regardless. So Kauffman Foundation started it in 2012, started down in Kansas City, Missouri, has migrated across the country. And every Wednesday across the country, you have entrepreneurs getting together, typically over cups of coffee when we're in person. Hence the 1 Million Cups. If you can get 1 million entrepreneurs chatting over coffee, you've got 1 million people connecting and sharing their companies and their ideas. So that's the premise of it. Brought it here in 2018, been going strong since, going on almost a year virtually here. But we connect and share and are connected into the greater ecosystem at large here, and really enjoy being with a bunch of different entrepreneurs from all over. And so right now we're able to be joined by people like Danica, who can join us out of state virtually. So got some sunlight affecting here, trying to move with it. But yeah, so we appreciate you joining us. My name's Steve Flaherty. I've got my own startup, which I was messaged over the week that I don't talk about a lot. Try not to put the attention out there, but you can follow me on social. You can find out all about what we're doing over at Nico Tech, helping the plastic waste problem that's clogging up our world, I guess. So, but also an entrepreneur advisor at the Delaware Entrepreneurship Center at Ohio Wesleyan University. And we've got a great community, not only on the organization team, but that follow 1MC, that are all contributors to the greater at-large ecosystem. So appreciate everybody joining us this morning. Want to go ahead and turn the mic over to Danica Hoppe, who is going to tell us all about their program and what they're doing at Givvn. And so Danica, the mic is yours. Welcome very much to the 1 Million Cups Columbus stage. Excited to hear all about what you're doing at Givvn.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for joining. As Steve was saying, my name's Danica Hoppe. I'm actually, fun fact, I'm in Tampa, Florida, but I was raised in Ohio. And Mary actually graduated from New Philadelphia, Ohio High School. So we probably know a lot of people in common because it's a very small city. And then I graduated as well from Kent State University. So and I was just there visiting family over the holidays. So I definitely have a lot of ties to Ohio. So I'm actually really excited to present today and connect with all of you. I'll get my slideshow going here. And sorry for my voice. It's early. My voice can be raspy. I apologize. I hope it's okay to hear me. So as Steve was saying, my company, its name's Givvn. I'm the CMO and co-founder. And with Givvn, we really focus on social media driven fundraising for nonprofits. And there's this thing happening. I'm sure all of you know about it. There's a pandemic and it's caused us social distancing. And what that also means to nonprofits is that there are events that they have every year, say that one big gala or that one big fundraising event. Now they can't have it because they can't have all these people in one place. So they have this challenge of, okay, how do we get all these donations that we need, but we can't have these online events, or I'm sorry, these in-person events. How do we make it online? And that's the problem that nonprofits are facing. How to do this online, how to manage it effectively, how to get in front of donors. And a lot of nonprofits, some of you were saying you work with nonprofits, I'm sure you understand, they're used to just in-person events. They're not used to being online. You'd be surprised how many nonprofits don't even have a website, or their website might be broken. So they've been really struggling with how to get online effectively. And this is our solution. So we have three main components. There's the CRM, or the donor management, a chatbot, and then a website as well. It's all connected and it's all social media focused. The CRM allows nonprofits to understand who's donating, how much they're donating, and really have that insight, whereas Facebook usually doesn't give that to nonprofits. So if you work with a nonprofit, you know that a donation comes through Facebook. You can't really follow up with that person. The chatbot's connected to Facebook Messenger, and a chatbot, for those who don't know, it's just a robot chatting. So it's automatic, you can program it, and it communicates over Facebook Messenger. So for example, if you go to a nonprofit's Facebook page that has a Givvn chatbot set up and you send them a message, automatically you'll get a response, and that's the chatbot communicating with you. And you can have a full conversation with them. You can learn about the nonprofit's mission, learn how to volunteer, you can buy tickets, etc. Anything that you can normally do in a Facebook message. And then the third component is the website. So what we found with nonprofits is that a lot of them really struggled at just having a website and an online presence. So we initially built this chatbot, and then we realized that a lot of nonprofits didn't have a secure website, or they didn't have the login, or their cousin's friend made it and they don't know what they're doing. So we essentially built a website builder for nonprofits, and it includes landing pages, donation pages for those nonprofits. Fully secure, you can't break it, and this is just a full package for nonprofits to get online, get fundraising, get connected, and share their mission. Okay, our products. So I'm a very visual person. This gives you more of an idea of what it looks like. So on the left, this is an example landing page of Givvn. So a nonprofit can put this up in just minutes, put their contact information, start collecting donations. In the middle, this is the chatbot. And like I said, that connects with Facebook Messenger. Another point is that with Facebook Messenger, it's connected to WhatsApp and it's connected to Instagram as well. So it's a really large audience that nonprofits can communicate with. And then our CRM on the right it's a dashboard, and it just gives insights. Everybody, I think, knows what a CRM is. A couple other things for nonprofits, especially the smaller nonprofits, having these tools allows them to connect with really an untapped demo. So if you think of a nonprofit that's focused on in-person events, that's never been online or it's never been on social media, they're really getting in front of these tech savvy people that they haven't been able to communicate with in the past. You would be so shocked how many nonprofits aren't able to collect donations online. It's really, really saddening. Another thing is that via chat, nonprofits can get 10 times the better engagement versus email. So if you think of chat, Facebook Messenger, you can actually put that on your phone and you get pinged right away when that message comes through. Whereas email, it goes to your email, maybe you'll look at it, maybe you'll respond, maybe it goes to spam. So chat just gives you much better communication and really that two-way communication as well. And like I said earlier, our tools, although they're very tech savvy, they're really hard to break. So like if anybody, there's no coding involved, it's very, very user-friendly. This is our business model. So we really want to be a tool for all nonprofits. So we do have a free plan, and this is actually free. We don't have any kind of hidden charges. The only thing that nonprofits would have to pay is the Stripe credit card processing fee, and that's something we can't get around. But nonprofits do get the discounted pricing because they are a nonprofit. And then we have other plans like the Pro and Enterprise that are upgrades like custom branding, analytics, extra donation pages, things of that nature. And the idea is really, we want to help all nonprofits. A lot of tech companies out there that help nonprofits are focusing on the enterprise level. You know, the really huge ones that have $1 million budgets. And we're really focusing on the rest of them, and they're kind of ignored, that need this help the most. And that's why we have this structure plan. These are examples of some nonprofits. And by the way, this isn't just like a dream or a demo. This is actually built, fully functioning. Nonprofits can join the platform and get set up in minutes. We're helping over 50 nonprofits, and these are a few of the examples. So in the growth plan, Little Guardian's a perfect nonprofit. They're just getting started, they're self-funded, no website, maybe one or two kind of people that started it, had a dream, had a mission, and created it. The Pro plan, Operation Green Shield, so that's more for the nonprofit that has a bit of success. They're already collecting donations, but they need more exposure. Then Enterprise, we have St. Anthony's Hospital Foundation. It's a larger foundation in the local area. And they have full-time staff. They may have somebody who's dedicated to social media, who's able to manage this, and they need more bells and whistles to make a successful campaign. Okay, so traction, basically, these are some of the nonprofits we work with on the left, some we'd like to work with, and then some of our partners. My co-founder and I have done Y Combinator. We did a local a local accelerator called Tampa Bay Innovation Center. And then we actually, a fun story, my co-founder and I met at Startup Weekend. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's a full weekend. You go, you don't know anybody, you pitch business ideas, you get together, create the business, and then you pitch it to a panel of judges. My co-founder and I, we ended up creating the idea for Givvn, and we won the weekend. And then we just decided, hey, do you really want to do this? And then so yeah, that's how we started. That was 2.5 years ago when we met at Startup Weekend. And then this is actually us. So I'm on the left, and like I said, I'm a graduate from Kent State. I've previously had a digital marketing agency, and I head up marketing and sales for the company. Matt, my co-founder, he's the wizard behind the curtain. He's phenomenal. He built the entire platform. He previously had a software company. He also has a master's in computer engineering. So that's the team. And then this is contact information if you want to get in contact with us. The general email is hello Givvn, but if you want to email me directly, it's just danica@givvn.org. Okay. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thanks for sharing a great rundown of the company. So, and it's awesome to see. We have a Startup Weekend here as well.
Cool.
That's hosted. So I was on the Startup Week side of the TechStars platform there. But Startup Weekend is a great little hackathon type thing, right? So it's awesome to see that not only did you go and create something there and participate in one, but then to turn that into a real life business out of that is just, a proof to the ecosystem and the development that can happen. So that's awesome. So congrats. You mentioned traction that you guys had that you're working with and everything. So what's that journey been like, to go and get the first customer and then scaling it over the last 2.5 years, you said, that it's been
Yeah.
functioning. So what's the strategy and what's it look like now?
Yeah, it's definitely been quite a challenge. So, like I said, we started 2.5 years ago. I would say the first year and a half was really focused on building out the platform. There's just a lot in it. We use artificial intelligence. We use there's a lot, and we also started with a chatbot. So kind of the donor management, the website builder was add-ons, because our early customers, our early nonprofits, we were working with them one-on-one, and we couldn't even get into their website. Like, they didn't know their password, or it wasn't secure, so we couldn't put a chatbot on it. And that's then when we decided to add the landing pages, the donation pages, everything like that. So, it's been a really slow kind of build, and all of the extra features that we've added has really been demanded from the nonprofits we work with. It's been very intentional how we've built this. We want it to be general enough for all nonprofits, but then also specific useful for each nonprofit, whether you're an animal rescue or a humanitarian nonprofit, et cetera. But yeah, it was the first year and a half was definitely just building out and really slow. And now it's picking up 100%. The pandemic has slowed a bit, just because we aren't able to do in-person events and really build that rapport. But yeah, a lot of our first nonprofits were just people that we knew in the community. A lot of business owners and entrepreneurs actually have philanthropic endeavors, or they have their own nonprofit. So that's been really good in that regard. So, and like I said, we have 50 nonprofits on right now. About 1 in 10 upgrade to a pro or an enterprise plan.
Okay, yeah, that was the question. So the freemium model, right, where you've got something that's out there. You're obviously, even different than, some of the other companies out there where you're supporting nonprofits. So, their dollars, budgets, everything are very tight with things. A lot of people, we've got several that we coach and do, and the nonprofits, they're still like a business, right? It's just the difference is where the investment comes from, right? So they've got to constantly stay relevant and compete against all the noise out there. So you said 1 in 10 conversion to upgrade. What does scale look like for you guys? I mean, what's, when you think about, the growth of the company and looking, 3-5 years out, what does scale at the look like now for your vision map, if you will?
Yeah, of course. So we've decided that we're always going to be in the space of nonprofits and smart technology, and making that very user-friendly for nonprofits, because there's such a need in the space. Like, I come from the for-profit sector, and there's just so much potential in nonprofits, and they need it too. Why don't they have these tools? They need these. In terms of growth, we're bootstrapped, we're self-funded. We have been from the beginning. Our accelerators, we've purposely haven't done any that have taken equity. And we're blessed to be in that position. But without that funding, we are a bit slower on the growth. We don't have the budget to kind of throw money at our problems. But we do have very, very high hopes with our growth for this year. I feel like it's going to jinx it if I say it out loud. But we do have some partnerships that are kind of, if that makes some pending partnerships in terms of collaborations and other people in this space that are willing to kind of put us out there. And we have a lot that's kind of we're doing referral marketing, affiliate marketing, things of those nature. Yeah, so we have pretty high hopes for this year. I don't want to put numbers out there. I feel like it jinxes you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Just looking for that roadmap and what you guys are projecting, or how you look at the growth of the company to evolve it. So 2 quick questions, and then I want to open up for audience here. What was the hardest thing that you didn't know getting into it that you've had to overcome? And then the second one is, what is something that you thought was going to be hard, but ended up in hindsight, maybe not as fearful as you once perceived in your
Sure.
entrepreneurial journey?
Sure. This is my first endeavor into a SaaS, and coming from a service-based company where you do a service, you get paid, you do a service, you get paid. That's been definitely an exercise in patience for me because it's been a lot of investment in the front end, and now we're getting that traction that it's kind of you do the work and then you kind of see the results later. So that's been a bit of an exercise in patience. So that was harder than I thought it would be, building the platform and that journey has just taken longer than I anticipated. But one thing that's been easier that I thought would be harder was actually working with my co-founder. Like I've always been super nervous about having a business partner or sharing responsibilities, but he's been absolutely phenomenal. Like I couldn't even, and just random, we just met at a startup weekend, but I couldn't ask for a better co-founder, and our skills just really mesh because he's very, very technical and I'm more of the, the marketing business side. So that's been just a blessing in itself.
So it sounds like you got the right people on the bus in the right seat where you guys complement each other, but can stay your own lanes and push it forward.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
All right. Well, I don't want to hog the mic here. We've got a lot of people on, so open it up for public comment. So if you want to unmute and engage and ask Danica your questions directly, go ahead.
Danica, I've got a quick question. The chat box that you've got, is that your own proprietary software that has been developed kind of from scratch, or is it more of a third-party application that's been configured for your solution?
Yeah, of course. So everything we have is proprietary. The chatbot we built, the kind of the landing page, donation page we built as well, and the CRM. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I muted?
Nope, it was me. I was muted.
Oh, okay.
I was launching into a question there. It's a little heavier maybe. So, well, first of all, there's two questions. So first of all, you mentioned affiliate. Does that mean you have like affiliations with other entities that work with startups and nonprofits to help them do the fundraise as well?
So there are kind of two parts to it. So this is actually a great question. What we've realized with our platform is it's a set of tools for nonprofits, and every nonprofit we found uses it in a slightly different way. But a really good analogy is comparing it kind of to a Facebook page, right? So a business can get on Facebook and they may have success, they may not, and that depends on how they use it. And that's the same with our platform, right? We give nonprofits a set of tools, and depending on how they use it, they'll see success or not. So what we found is that the partners that help nonprofits, if the nonprofit doesn't have a founder or somebody in place who's ready to make it successful, or a social media manager, then it is helpful if they have a consultant or an agency that helps them implement that. Our platform is opinionated, and by that I mean we tell nonprofits, hey, put your mission statement here, put your donation amounts here, put your values here. It's only nonprofits can get on our platform, only registered nonprofits, and we personally verify all of them because we don't want to be a GoFundMe type of a situation. But we found that nonprofits have the most success with those kind of partnerships or having somebody help them. So we do have those affiliations, and we are looking for more of those. So if you have an agency or if you're a consultant and you help nonprofits and you could use a tool like this, we could totally white label it for you or create it to where you can actually use it to help nonprofits, right? And that's the space we want to play in. We want to be a tech provider. We don't want to be like a consultant or we don't want to play in it. We can't do both really well. We have to choose, and we want to be on this side. But then also we do have affiliate kind of codes and things like that. So our partners that have complementary businesses in the nonprofit space, if they recommend us, it's that kind of structure of like they would get a referral bonus or like a kickback affiliate commission if they do, refer somebody to us. So we have had that set up with some partners.
Awesome. Wow. Thanks. Yeah, you guys have come a long way then to that end. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll definitely have to talk offline.
Yeah,
afterward.
we've been busy. And in 2.5 years, you can do a lot with motivation. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Well, my other question, and I've got more, but I'll wait after this one to let other people have a chance. So it sounds like you and your partner are it. He's actually doing the development. It sounds like maybe you're not outsourcing a lot of stuff. What type of insurance do you have in play, whether literal or or whatever? Just, what if something happens to one of you, God forbid? What type of insurance is there?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think we're planning on nothing happening to either of us. I think that's always kind of the best case, but in a fundamental sense, we don't have like a typical kind of business insurance. We are incorporated. We have, Delaware incorporation, et cetera. And we do, one way we've protected ourselves is that we don't touch any of the donations that come through. So any donation that goes to a nonprofit goes directly to them, to their Stripe account. So there's nothing we can touch. There's in a legality perspective, like our platform can't even interact with that, if that makes sense. And that's also great for the nonprofits perspective because they get the money immediately. There's no hold, there's no kind of threshold that you have to meet, et cetera. But yeah, in our perspective, like everything that we do, we share, and we have everything that's between the two of us. Everything that we build, everything that we touch is completely transparent to the other. So, and then we have contracts where if there's something that happens, we actually started with a third co-founder in the beginning, and because of personal reasons, she had to step away, and it was a very, very smooth transition. So we've had those hard conversations up in the in the beginning. So, but we hope that doesn't happen. I don't want my co-founder to go anywhere. So
I hope so too. Just, yep. Anyone else?
Danica, on the credit card side, do you control all the credit card transactions? Do they have to come through you, or is it being done independent through each organization that uses Givvn?
So how it works is on our platform, nonprofits can connect their Stripe account. So it's their Stripe account that they start themselves. It's in their name. We can't touch it. They connect it. But any donation goes directly into that Stripe account. But we do control the widget, if you will, for those donations. So the nonprofit can decide through our platform what amount and what the description of those donations, whether they want them to be once or monthly, like recurring donations, that type of thing. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. We just see, and we've seen this a lot with the companies, whether it's nonprofit or for-profit, that when they're dealing with a lot of retail establishments, which we consider anyone who's dealing directly with consumers, that to the extent that they can control the credit card transactions, it gives them two things. One is an opportunity for additional revenue streams, which is always nice, especially early on when you're trying to grow your subscription revenue. And secondly, if the time comes someday that you decide you do want to have an exit, so you want to sell your company, there's a lot more buyers out there who are very interested in credit card processing transactions. They will pay higher multiples to a company because they've got that kind of revenue sources. So it's just something to consider and think of, especially as you get bigger, maybe can control more of what's going on, and because people want to use you more than it's not just a convenience anymore to have Givvn, but you're the go-to in the market. So just something I would recommend considering.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. That's a really good point. And we've strangely had some companies approach us and say, hey, you can create your own payment processing system. And we kind of started going down that route of just kind of learning more. But at this point, we're finding Stripe to be really user-friendly and easy to kind of use. So that may definitely be something in the future where we explore that and we can get better rates for our nonprofits and, also have that margin as well. That's definitely an idea. It's been pitched, and we're it's in the back of our mind, but it's not something that we're.
All right. Any other questions from the field? All right, I got one. Since Mark brought it up, exit. Do you guys have a plan for that, or you want to keep it, keep it yours for life? What's the look like there?
So we really genuinely are on a mission to help nonprofits. It's I guess a passion of both of ours. It's not just kind of a business to make money. If we do exit, it would be probably, especially given the type of business, it would probably be an acquisition of a bigger company that would kind of buy up ours. And there have been a couple of companies that have talked to us, but they were in the early stages. They were just interested in the talent, and they're like, wait a minute, then we just have another job. So we're that's probably, if we do an exit, that's probably how it would go, but that's not something we're looking at right now. I don't think we're at that point. So I don't know if it would be helpful. I know we have some time left. Would it be helpful if I actually show you a demo of Givvn, and so you can see kind of how it works and all of that? Okay.
Yeah,
great.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm such a visual person. If I can't see something, I'm like, I don't know, is it real? It up. It's live, so let me share my screen here. Okay, you should be able to see this now. So super cool is we just made up that nonprofit. This is totally, we like puppies, so. And you can also go to this as well. It's just givvn.com. And this is everything that you get in a growth plan. So that's the free plan for nonprofits. Nonprofits can put their information, their logo, change these sliders, etc. And this down here, this little icon on the bottom right, is actually the Facebook Messenger plugin. And so this is how donors can communicate with the chatbot. And this plugin, this Facebook Messenger, is automatically integrated with the Givvn landing page. Nonprofits can also integrate it with their existing website. So say a nonprofit already has a website and they just want to use Givvn for a campaign. They can totally do that, but still put the Messenger plugin on their website. And like I said, if I continue here and I start chatting, so I can go through here. I could donate an amount, and like I said, that amount goes directly to the nonprofit. Of course, this isn't a real nonprofit, so I'm not going to donate. And here, this is the chatbot working right now. So this is all automatic. Nonprofits can set this up to say whatever they want, collect donations right in here, etc. And then it gives you an option to test the credit card donation feature. Down here, all of this, like I said, is in the growth plan. Nonprofits can put their mission, etc. And then there's a donation page. And on this donation page, so nonprofits can set these amounts, right? So if they want to give donors the option to donate $30 or $1,000, they can put that on here. Monthly is recurring, so donors can donate $7 every month if they want to. This widget, so this little box here, let me expand this a little bit so you can see it. This box here can actually be embedded on a nonprofit's website as well. So if you want to use Givvn for all of your kind of fundraising and online donations, you can definitely do this. And this widget is the same one that's in the chat as well. And nonprofits can add videos, pictures, all kinds of things. And like I said, the nonprofits that we work with now have really driven the development of our platform. Like we initially didn't have the recurring donations. We initially didn't have the videos. And these were all ideas from nonprofits that we work with. But that's kind of the platform or the tools in a nutshell. So.
Andrew.
With the messenger feature, this shows my lack of knowledge here. So does that need to be staffed live by the nonprofit, or can you set it up so it's automatic?
It can be completely set up automatic. So on our platform that we have what's called a flow, which is the conversation that you decide you want to be there. So for example, here, I can take donations, click on the donate button. This, we programmed on the Givvn platform, right? So a nonprofit could go in there and change this, can change everything that's in this chat. And it is automated. So once a nonprofit puts it in there on the Givvn platform, it will keep responding to people until you go in and change it, or you could turn it off if you want to. Another thing to note is that these conversations are also going to be found on your nonprofit's inbox on Facebook. So as the conversation's actually happening, it's super cool. So if you have Facebook Messenger on your phone and someone goes to your nonprofit's page and starts communicating with your chatbot, you will start getting those notifications that chat is happening as it's happening. So you know exactly what's being said at any time and it's live. You can also, if say you have downtime, you can communicate with that person. You can interrupt this chat. So all you do is open up your Facebook inbox and you just start typing back to them and it will automatically turn off the chat bot so you can have that live conversation.
So, so I know my experience with Messenger sometimes and chatting with automatic chats is I ask a question that there is no automatic answer for. And so, you know, I'm expecting the company to respond like I'm really talking to a live person. So the reason I'm asking is my nonprofit, we're all volunteers. We don't have time to be managing a live chat messenger feature. So what's your experience with groups like mine that, you know, we're all volunteers and we don't have the time to manage that?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of nonprofits that are in your position where they know they need to be on social media and they need to have this online presence, but they don't have the ability to focus on that. With that, you can, you know, the chatbot is, it's going to help you in whatever way you want it to, right? So if it's not programmed to answer a specific question, it comes back with this response automatically. It says, whoops, my human didn't tell me how to say that. Another thing is with chatbots, it's best practice to never pretend like it's a human. You know, let people know that you're chatting with a robot, and typically they can tell because the responses are so quick and so long. But you know, you never want to pretend like it's a human. But there is the artificial intelligence does to a degree. So if somebody types in hi or they type in hello, they'll get that kind of welcome response. But there are things that it won't know. So it just comes back with, whoops, my human doesn't know that, that type of thing. Another thing to point out is we've talked to donors on the donor side of nonprofits who really are interested in this as well. A lot of nonprofits look at it and say, okay, well, it's taking that rapport away, that personal interaction. But really, the donors look at it like, oh, wow, it's going to put more money towards the cause rather than paying for somebody to sit on social media and respond, right? So donors really, and that's a message you can always communicate to donors, like, hey, this chatbot, this website, et cetera, it's our way of getting our message out, you know, in a more cost-effective way. So more of your dollars go to this cause, right? So donors are really on board when they know that. I hope that answers your question.
That's very useful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Danica, you mentioned that about 1 in 10 upgrade to a paid plan. Is that a good ratio, or is there a different one you guys would like to see going forward?
We're happy with that, considering that we're not really doing any aggressive kind of upgrades. Like the 1 in 10 that are upgrading from the beginning, right when they sign on. They're like, okay, we need these analytics, or we need these extra pages, or whatever it might be. We really aren't going after the nonprofits that are on the platform. And I think that there's opportunity for that, to have those conversations with them, like, hey, did you know this platform could do this, and this could help you in this feature, et cetera. So I do think that if the effort's put in, like, we could definitely make that ratio a lot better, but that's just where we're sitting right now. And for just on a onboarding basis, we think we're happy with that 1 in 10, right? And I think that it can only get better in the future.
Danica, can you work with nonprofits that either have regular campaigns, whether they're an annual campaign or for a specific cause that or something that's going on that's very timely, who may be looking to do, again, a campaign that's going outward, not having inbound traffic, but outbound traffic to their donor base. They've got a donor base, and specifically with maybe the younger donor base, whether it's the Gen X or millennials, who typically will communicate and transact business now differently than they may be used to with their older donor base. Is there a way to do that through Givvn? And I think that'd be a great sales tool to take out to market, because my sense is that there's a lot of nonprofits that are struggling with reaching this younger donor base.
1000%. And yes, you've definitely hit the nail on the head. So many nonprofits that we've talked to have expressed the concern that their donor base is aging, and they're worried, okay, well, how we have to have new donors. We have to get the younger donors to keep our nonprofit, the funds coming in, et cetera. So it's definitely a concern. A lot of nonprofits know they need to get online and be on social, and they don't know how to do that. In terms of your question for like outbound versus inbound, yeah. So our platform, our tools are as effective as you want them to be. Every nonprofit uses them different. A nonprofit could do a campaign, for example, outbound, where they can send a link to a nonprofit landing page or to the actual chatbot. So every chatbot has its own link, and when you click on that, it automatically opens that chat. So you could send that out. You can do Facebook Messenger marketing. You could do a Facebook ad for the nonprofit, and the link, the call to action, could actually open up Messenger. Another thing that's good to point out with this is once somebody clicks on here, so earlier you saw me click, and here I've communicated with Super Cool Nonprofit. So I've essentially, as a consumer, I've opted in. So now Super Cool Nonprofit has my basic information, but more importantly, they have the ability to communicate back to me. So there can be campaigns that way as well. So you can talk to your donor base, the ones that have messaged you in the past. So there are definitely ways to do outbound in terms of like advertising. So think of anything you can do where you can put a link in it. You can do that with a Givvn tool and get people onto your landing page, into your chatbot, etc. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great.
I'm curious, just seeing it, Danica, if you've ever, looked, I mean, I know the mission and everything is, with the nonprofit, but, for same thing you mentioned with nonprofits, not having a website or easy way to take payments and everything. I see a lot of really small, businesses have the same issue. And is there, have you ever looked at, you've got the tool, does it apply over in a different sector outside of the nonprofits, or is it going to strictly stay nonprofits for?
We built our tool specifically for with contingencies, right? So if like our chatbot works in Facebook Messenger, if people mass migrate away from Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, then we can use our chatbot on different platforms if we want to. We're focused on that because we're focused on the tech savvy social media audience. In terms of retooling this for the for-profit sector for small businesses, it could be done, but there's so much involved in this that's really, really focused on nonprofits. And it's a gap that we saw in the marketplace. Like if a for-profit business wanted to use ManyChat, that's what it's there for e-commerce, for chatting online, or wanted to use Shopify, which is an e-commerce website builder for it's like $40 a month and it's all done, or WordPress and a plugin, et cetera. I mean, there's so many cost-effective ways for small businesses to get online and, sell their products, et cetera. We're really not built for that. We're built for the gap in the market, which is for small nonprofits, small, medium-sized nonprofits that aren't online or online and they're not in front of social media audience, et cetera. So it could be done, but it's not our focus. Like we know our lane, if that makes sense. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and I agree. Specialization, does help with messaging and everything. I just see, there that same opportunity. I mean, there's quite a few tools, and that's where it can get overwhelming because it's like you have so many. So to have that, even as simple as a CRM system, here's a website that looks refreshing as opposed to something that looks like it's out of GeoCities, and then the chat bot, and then even if it's simple, you don't want to get into having a storefront and all that because obviously that does complicate it, but having support our business with a gift card, I could see that exists, whether it's a separate entity or vertical or branding name and all that. It's like Slack. They built the tool set for internal use, and then they realized like, oh, this got a wider audience. So I can see it having a play in a certain small segment target area of the for-profit sector. So just a thought. And then I'm curious, you talked about the exit and everything, what that would look like or whatever. What you're bootstrapped now, is it something that you guys want to go and raise capital for, or what's the cap management table or the plan look like to get to what success looks like?
Yeah, so what's interesting is my co-founder and I both come out of kind of the regular business world, not the startup world. And if you've been in both, if you've had a foot in both, you realize there are a lot of parallels, but there are a lot of differences. And what we found is that, doing the accelerators that we've done and the pitches we've done, it's all been super helpful, but we have talked to some VC funds, and I found, at least the ones that we've talked to, the terms are, I would say, bordering on predatory. Like, I mean, I get better terms on a credit card. Like, come on, it's, sorry. And I guess coming from the business world, I look at it like, and my co-founder and I have had these conversations at length of just, okay, are we going to we could have spent the last 2 years chasing funding, and then our platform wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have all these nonprofits that we're helping. So we made a conscious choice to put our effort into building a business and not going after funding. And I think if we were in a position where we had to, then okay, that would be a different conversation, but we're not in a position where we need the funding. But yeah, I mean, I think that if we would partner up with an investor, it would definitely have to be somebody that shares the same mission and thought with us. It's with a philanthropic type of mindset and understands where the gap is in the market and where the need is. But yeah, it would be amazing. We could be 1,000%. I actually just had this conversation yesterday with a group of startup female entrepreneurs, and it would make our path 1,000% easier, but it's not as much of a guarantee. I think it's just finding that investor would be like a needle in a haystack, and we'd rather just build a business. Maybe it's a bit slower, but we know that we can get there. So we're not actively looking for fundraising. If we come across somebody who's super interested in what we're doing, I think there, could be a conversation, but we're like, hey, we're going to build a business. We're in the startup space, but we're not in the chasing funding phase. Like, and then once you get funding, that's not success. That just gives you an easier path forward. So that's kind of our philosophy with it. So it might not be popular, maybe my unpopular opinion, but that's where we are. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, and real quick, you mentioned Delaware C Corp is what you guys registered as.
Yeah, we did the Delaware C Corp route. So the shares. Well, we went through Y Combinator online. So we were like, okay, well, we'll do this. And that's how we kind of structured everything. So, yep. And then
Gotcha.
We do operate in Florida. Yeah.
Well, I was just curious your experience with it. So, setting that up. I mean, I know from the outside looking in, sometimes startups feel intimidated by that because you got to get a registered agent in the state and everything, and it's like, oh, I got to file taxes in different places and manage it, and for a team of two,
Yeah, I would say because I'm so just background. I have degrees in marketing, psychology, and business, and the business and psych are from Kent State. And I would say my accounting classes were the bane of my existence but it's necessary. It's a necessary kind of evil. And yeah, we have the incorporation in Delaware. We used Clerky, which was recommended through Y Combinator, and it's a pretty streamlined process. We did the incorporation in Delaware. We have a registered agent there. And we're keeping that going. We want to, from the beginning, everything we're doing is setting ourselves up to be bigger and really have that kind of mind frame. We don't want to get, like, if we have hired an employee tomorrow, it's very straightforward. It's like, this is where everything's at. These are the workflows, processes. This is what you need to do. So we're definitely set up to grow. And we've had that kind of mindset from the beginning. Yeah, but don't be afraid of Delaware. They're actually very, like, I've had conversations with them before because it's been confusing doing kind of like paying the taxes and stuff. Like, wait, what does this mean? And they're very, they communicate well. They're very easy to work with. I found the process not fun, but not super, like a whole lot of friction. I could say that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. Well, and the one question rounded out, I'm sure you've had it at other 1MCs before, but what, as a community, what can we do to help you in this venture and in this journey?
Yeah, of course. We would love to be partnered with any kind of agency, consultant, organization that helps nonprofits that could either get us conversations, get us in front of nonprofits, or partner with us, right? So say you have a digital agency and you help nonprofits, and this could be a tool that you could use. We would love to have a conversation with you. I think that that's really going to be the way forward for us, is having those partnerships to ensure just not that nonprofits are on our platform, but that those nonprofits see success. So we would love to have any kind of connection, introduction. That would be appreciated. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you want to throw up your contact slide there one more time, we'll make sure everybody sees it here for connecting with you guys. So, and following the journey. So, and then, yep, there's website, emails, social media. Go and give Givvn a follow and a like, share their story, and you guys are on a great mission to help nonprofits. It's cool to see the different levels, the tiers. That freemium model out there is definitely unique. So we wish you much success, and feel free to stay engaged with our community. I know you're out of Florida, but happy to a fellow Mac school graduate. So I went to Miami, so different Mac school, but all within the same community there. And so let's see how we can help you and stay connected and make sure we keep sharing the story of Givvn and what you guys are doing.
Great. And thank you everybody for attending. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the questions. They've been phenomenal. And yeah, and it's also great to see so many people from Cleveland and New Philadelphia, Ohio. That just blows my mind. It's a small world. So it's great.
Truly is. So yeah, no, that's the benefit of like you said, there's some pluses out of the entire pandemic. So we've been blessed to be able to connect in and live stream and stay going, and connect across the state, not just here locally in Columbus. So, but thank you very much for joining us. We will be back next week, Wednesday at 9 a.m. Again, you can join us live via Zoom by going to Columbus1mc.com, or you can tune in via Facebook, and it'll live in there in perpetuity. So everybody have a wonderful week. Danica, best of luck. We'll stay connected, and good luck to you and Matt down at Givvn.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.